welcome back to another video on the Opel Manta. So I've just rolled this outside. I've just dropped this bottom radiator pipe off. We're going to be pulling this radiator out just to make a bit more room, to have a bit more space. I'll be painting these inner wings. I've also this morning done an engine service on it, got the oil, put a new filter on, and I've also dropped the oil in the gearbox and replaced it with the correct oil for the gearbox as well. As I said, I just rolled it outside just to drop this coolant. Obviously I didn't want that in the garage. I've got a friend of mine actually on his way over to Hartlepool, well in fact he's on his way back now, with the BBS wheels that I've just bought, so they should be going on it today. Once them are fitted, I'll get another video and show you around how it looks with these new wheels on. Boot lid, spoiler, back bumper and bonnet should be back from the paint shop early this week, in the next couple of days, and they can go back on. And this thing is now taking shape pretty quickly, in fact quicker than we anticipated. Oh, the louvers are also painted, so the side louvers can go back on. I'll collect them tomorrow, pop them on tomorrow night. I'll just give the interior another quick hoover. I have wet vacked the passenger seat, just come out really clean. Looks brand new, that. Come out absolutely mint. Door cards have dried well. And then we have Kevin down here, who is just in the process of cleaning up and painting our driver's side seat base. So this can be all treated and painted. That can then be bolted in the car, and then we can drop the driver's seat in and get that wet vacked. And I've also got to wet vac and install the rear seat base as well. So this needs cleaning up, so we're going to get that on. That's the one that came out the car and it was nasty as hell, so I weren't putting that back in. This is much cleaner, no burns in it, no rips in it. That was also had a rip in it, so we're going for that one instead. So let's crack on, let's see what we can get done today. Right, so we've got our radiator out. I'm now going to take this thermostat housing off because it's a bit crusty. It's also full of this nasty stuff. So I'm going to get this out, clean it all out, make sure the thermostat's not gummed up, because obviously we don't want it to overheat. So I'll get that out, clean it up, flush the coolant system out, we're going to flush the radiator out with a hose pipe, and then we're going to bang our new wheels on. we've got our wheels on. We've now got the car all masked off and bagged up, just to stop all the dust and crap getting on top of the paint. Tom's now working on these inner wings to get these prepped and painted. We've ripped some of the paint off down to the bare metal where we needed to. It's not overly bad, to be fair. Same again on this side. We've got paint ripped off on this inner chassis rail. There has been a small patch welded in there in the past. It is solid. It's just not been butt welded, so we're just going to put a bit of a skim filler into that just to neaten it up. Same again in the battery tray. It's pretty solid. There's just a couple of bits that want tidying up with a bit of filler, so we'll be doing that, and then tomorrow hopefully that will be primed and painted. Now we do have another issue what we need to deal with. Just give me a sec, I'll jump down the pit and show you what I mean. So we need to deal with this chassis rail and that chassis rail. As you can see there, this is swelled up and split, so we do have a bit of rust here. We did know about this, but obviously we've just not had time to deal with this before we went to the paint shop. We wasn't planning on sort of doing this car so quickly. The reason we're doing this is because my brother normally takes his car to the show every year, the VBOA National Rally. Unfortunately, his car's not going to be ready this year, which would have left us with a car short. So we said, let's get this one built and he can take this car. So we had to rush it through the paint shop, and now obviously we're dealing with the issues as we go along. So we're going to be cutting this out, getting rid of this old crappy steel, cut it back all the way to about here. We're going to be laying a new piece of steel in there, make it nice and solid, and we'll get that butt welded in. This side's not as bad, but it does need dealing with. A lot of this is just surface, to be fair. It's still pretty solid, but we're going to grind this back and just see what we're dealing with anyway. That is actually a drain hole. It's not actually a rust hole, and it has had a piece welded in here before in the past. Piece of chassis rail in there. So that's what we're going to be on with tonight. Let's get cracking with that. Right, so that's one chassis rail done. Nothing special there, guys, just a quick patch just to make it MOT-able. Not too bad, but I have done better, ideally. Normally I've replaced this whole section, and at some point I might, but obviously 3 weeks to the show, it ain't happening in the next 3 weeks, so This will get it through its MLT, make it solid, and it'll do for now. Next, we're going to move on to this side. Pretty much the same. That's probably a smaller repair on that side, to be fair, but let's get cracking. Right guys, so a fair amount of work has been done. We've done quite a lot of work on this now. As you can see, all the new wheels are on, all the mirrors are on, all the trim's in, all the glass is in, the interior's in, it's all been valeted inside. I painted the engine bay last night, which come out pretty damn good. Really nice shine to it. I've popped the headlights in, still need to wire these up. I've also stone chipped the whole car underneath. I've done the bits of welding on the chassis rails, both sides. Sunroof seal's been put back in, it was a bit of a pain. Back bumper's on, back lights are in and wired up, number plate lights are in and wired up, reg plate's on. We've satin blacked out all the boot inside there to get rid of the white. Now I'd like some opinions on the spoiler. Do we leave this spoiler black or do we put it in blue, the same colour as the car? I wasn't really for the black spoiler personally, but now it's on, I actually quite like it. I think it ties in with the gloss black down the sides really well. What we're thinking, leave it black or put it blue? Drop some comments on that, let us know what you think. So tonight's adventure is, we're going to be tidying up this engine bay. We're going to be dragging this outside, getting the jet wash on it. We've got some aluminium cleaner and stuff that we're going to be using, obviously an alley block and all the carbs and everything, so we're going to be using that product on here, see if it brings it up any good. I've got my struts, so we're going to be putting this bonnet on gas struts, which will go here rather than the old bonnet stay that goes up the front. So I'm just going to give these a lick of paint. They're a little bit tarnished and stuff, so obviously the extent we've gone to with the car, don't want to leave them like that. So I'm going to paint these now, get them on. Kevin's just painting the master cylinder, which we took off just to get a bit more access into these chassis rails, but while it's off I may as well paint it. So he's doing that, I'm going to get that back on, pipe it up, roll it outside, jet wash the engine bay, get it back in, start tidying it up and see where we get to.